Rapper Neo has said that he's embracing the polyamorous lifestyle after posting pictures of his 3 girlfriends, to which polyamorous man Dan Jones said, that's way better than the polyamory I've been doing.
At this point, his girlfriend Tori interjected, saying, "What the did you just say, Dan?" To which Dan replied, "I misspoke. The situation where I'm one of Tori's 4 boyfriends is actually a much better version of polyamory, and also this is what Tori wanted. I mean what we wanted."
Tori interjected once again to say, "That's better, Dan, and you better lose the attitude if you ever want to get out of the garage," before turning to the reporter to say, "We'd much prefer to have him in the house and the bed every 5th night, but lately he's had a problem with sharing, and apparently he thinks he should have me all to himself, even though he knows damn well Wednesday is Dave and John's turn on my body and his turn to watch Dave and my kid."
Following her comments, Tori's 3 other boyfriends burst into the living room angrily, with Dave Johnson leading the charge to say, "What's this we're hearing about you thinking 3 women in bikinis is better than sharing Tori between the 4 of us? Are you trying to anger her?" With John adding, "We're not supposed to anger her before her second lunch," to which Tori slammed the table with her fist before yelling, "Enough chit-chat! Which one of you is going to carry me to the toilet?"
Fellas, tonight I will be in Irvine, California. That is tonight and tomorrow. Sunday we'll be in San Jose. Make sure to come out. There's a few tickets left, but they're selling fast, and they usually sell out in those places. Then Tampa, Salt Lake City, Denver, Atlanta, Calgary, Newcastle, San Diego, Tulsa, Appleton, Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Baltimore at RyanLongComedy.com. Come out because the shows have been amazing.
And catch me in Edmonton and Vancouver. Vancouver coming up first, and then Edmonton next month. Tickets at DannyComedy.com. Come out!
The boys. It's the BOYSCAST. The lads. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST. The bros. It's the BOYSCAST. The homies. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Experience the BOYSCAST. The BOYSCAST.
Listen, the BOYSCAST is coming at you, and as we're we're coming in hot, I didn't want to have to talk about another female plane crash.
No, it's we do so
That's
with
the
much
last
consternation.
Thank you very much. It was the last thing. I woke up in the morning and I read it on my phone. I go, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to bring up the fact.
We're literally just like, please be male, please be male.
That's what I've been saying.
We do not want this to reflect poorly on the ladies. Another female plane crash on the super female airline.
And then I listened to this is the absolute last thing I wanted to do is listen to the recording of the girl where they go, "Do you know anything weird with your wing on your plane?" Because there was sparks going everywhere, and she hadn't noticed.
Yeah, literally, it's literally the wife goes, "Hey, I put the tennis ball in the garage so that, did you notice you scraped the whole side of the car when you pulled in?" She's like, "Nah, what, really?" You go, "Yeah, it's like $4,000 of damages." And she's like, "Really? No, I didn't notice that."
Hey, did you drive all the way home with a boot on your car?
And the windshield boot where you can't even see. She goes, "Did you get home with both of them on the car? Because
You didn't know
pretty dangerous.
Windshield boot on your car. Shit. That is crazy though. So the wing was sparking all over the place.
Yeah, out of LaGuardia, and then they were like, "Hey, did you notice that?" And just like, "No." I mean, they don't have a great line of sight in that cockpit, but yeah, she's like, "No, didn't feel it."
It is just fun, Endeavor Air is the craziest one because so basically they pilot all these other flights, but it's like they just went so crazy on we can drive planes now too.
All female,
bitch.
How you like that?
I mean?
That's gonna be $4 million to fix that.
It's literally like you've been bragging all fucking year long about how you're the toughest guy in the world and no one can beat you in a fight, and then a guy grabs your girl's ass at a bar. And you're like, what are you gonna do? You have no choice, and then you just get the shit kicked out of you.
Essentially, how airlines are notorious now for really nickel and diming you, where they're everything's.
The other one came out recently. That was I think it might have been Delta or one of them that their whole it wasn't Delta. One of their airlines that their whole deal was free baggage.
Yeah, but a lot of airlines like Air Canada is really bad, and a lot of them will be like, you you got to pay for like even like your carry on and like if you have like the super. But like, how do you?
Would you like to get the ticket where you're allowed to look anywhere in the plane, or do you want to you have to look forward?
No, I was gonna say would you like 2 male pilots? that's like a literal checkbox. It goes 2 male pilots, an additional $135. It goes.
They actually could pay for you for that.
Don't want to really gamble with my life here. That sounds pretty fair.
They crowdfund the extra money. They go, I don't know if you heard about the wage gap, but it's 30% more if we want that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. They just do it based on wage gap premium.
Dude, on the way here, when I was looking at that, I always try to find out. I was just like, is there actually a big discrepancy between the crashes? I know with men and women driving, basically,
women are actually cheaper insurance.
It's like, well, because men are more
risk takers.
They kind of
speed more, and
so they take riskier stuff, but like smaller crashes, like parallel parking crashes is more likely to be a girl, and depth perception is apparently better in a man.
Sure.
So like going into a parking garage, like they're
my mom like literally to this day like she cannot like back into a space. Like,
right.
My dad has to do it for her.
Well, apparently there's some actual science behind
some evolutionary like biology.
Yeah, it's depth perception essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always that thing. There was the book that kind of talks about the differences, but it'll be like men are driving, like too close to something, and they'll be like, "You're so close," and then the guy's kind of like, "What? I'm not even close." Like,
right, yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is like a known or like a thing, but like my wife in our house, she like literally cannot find anything. Like,
that's usually the guy that can't find anything.
Well, I figured that it was like because if you're a hunter, you need to be able to like detect stuff. Like if you have the hunter's eyes, right? Like you need to be able to detect like small things. So I don't know.
That's a gathering eye you're thinking of.
Is it?
Yeah, no, they're not.
I think gathering eyes is like there's just some berries or whatever. I don't know. I'm actually like I don't actually know the answer.
There's a whole thing. So men apparently when you're looking for something, you scan, right?
Yeah.
So you scan, if you're looking for something in the fridge, you scan top row, second row, third row, and then if you didn't see it, you have to do the whole procedure again. So that's why it could take way longer. Whereas girls more look at the whole picture at the same time. But in your house, what's probably happening is she's like, where'd those like 9 burgers go? And you're just like, huh, what the fuck? She's like,
I swear they're in the back there somewhere.
I can't find them anywhere. And then you kind of run back. You just go, I'm going to step out for a second. And you run over to the store and you buy more and you come back and put them there here the whole time.
I fucking go, oh, there's a bad spill there. And I jam. I go, yeah, they were there the entire time. That might be a better explanation.
It's funny. You got the reverse roles going on in your house.
She can't find a single, like, I'll just be like, hey, can you get something from the drawer? She's like, where is it? I'm like, it's in the drawer.
It's in my pants.
She's like, where is it? I'm like, the drawer. She's like, I can't find it. And I just walk over. I go, here it is.
Yeah, that's reverse for me. I'm the not finder. Yeah, I think you have the gathering.
Yeah, but everybody who's watching this podcast
I think
knows
Danny's
that
been gathering.
I'm the hunter and you're the gatherer.
You actually been gathering.
Yeah, Ryan's the gatherer.
Danny's gathering utensils. Oh my God.
I've been gathering condiments.
Can you believe she doesn't even know what an apron is? She goes,
the
where's
apron with the dick on it? The naked guy with the dick.
Danny, do you know where what do you call a spatula?
Spatula, yeah. That's
Danny,
that's
where's
a
the spatula?
right,
and you're like, ugh. And then you have to take your cucumbers off your eyes. And then you walk into the kitchen. You're like, third drawer
can
on
I
the
not
left.
get some peace in here?
You're putting your eye creams on, and
I'm doing self-care.
The spatula is on the third drawer to the left. Thank you.
Yeah.
And also, stop messing up my kitchen.
She does make a mess.
Yeah. So that's what's going on in your house. But I looked it up, and apparently what's happening is they said, well, it's hard to get the info for the commercial flights. They said for private flights, women have a higher crash rate.
Okay.
They said for commercial flights, good fucking luck finding that info.
No, we're not keeping those stats. What are we doing next? IQ versus race? No thanks.
Oh, yeah. Good luck getting those statistics, man.
Yeah.
ChatGPT was like, please stop asking me this. There will be repercussions.
We're going to have to shut down, and you're going to destroy our company if you continue asking these questions, Ryan.
Well, it's even a funnier thing because when the ChatGPT thing that goes, I haven't been able to find any differences that I would qualify as a big deal. It's like, are there differences? They're like, Nothing to worry about.
What percentage of? Do we know what percentage of?
I said in Army flights, dudes have a little bit higher, but I guess Army pilots is weird because
what percentage?
Probably who has more crashes is who's going into riskier missions.
Yeah. So in the USA, we have 5% of pilots at major airlines are women. So men should be crashing at a 19 to 1.
19 to 1, yeah. You couldn't do that math?
No, I just woke up.
Danny screwed it up. He showed up late today, man.
I thought we were filming tomorrow. I was like literally in my underwear.
There he is, Mr. Polishuk. It ended up working. Well, you got it. It would ended up being not that late. It wasn't a big deal.
I know, but I was like literally in my underwear, and you guys were like, Ryan's like, I'm gonna be late. I'm like, oh fuck.
We're actually totally fine though.
Yeah, I know.
But you want to know one on that vein is I saw probably one of my favorite things. It was like, so I guess it's in like, I don't know this because I don't have a normal job, but I guess this is like bonus season for like around tax time is when a lot of people get bonuses. Do you know anything about that?
I thought it was Christmas time.
Then, I don't know. On TikTok, everyone was saying that like March is a lot of people get bonuses.
Well, then you get your tax rebate, which I guess if you're like a fucking
not the tax rate.
And you go, thank government for my money back. What a bonus! You took my money and then you're allowing me to have it back. Thanks, Uncle Sam.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, like, look at the government.
I mean,
the government cares.
Is it chicks doing this? Because that's total chick math to be like,
chicks, yeah.
It's bonus time. It's like it's your fucking money.
So I can't agree or disagree because I really don't know. Yeah. But for whatever reason, there was like a bunch of discourse of girls. Someone showed me this. That's how I know about it. But there was a bunch of girls talking about like, you know, what the spend bonus is on. And it was like a big thing of girls being like, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this. And then one girl that had like a big following, I can't remember her name. All this extraneous information doesn't matter. But the girl posted basically saying, she goes, you know, I'm thinking about that I might buy the dip with all my money. And then all the top comment and all the people were like, what is this dip? And like, how
is it a mayo-based dip? Is it like a sour cream dip? What kind
of
dip?
And they weren't kidding.
Yeah.
There was actually a lot.
How many layers is this dip you're gonna buy? Is it a 7-layer dip?
They were all wondering what dip she was talking about. They're like, is it all dressed? I like a good dip. Yeah, what restaurant is it?
Well, I'm going to conclude based on this comment section that this is in fact these women's tax returns.
Probably.
That they're just getting back. Unless they happen to work for the same industry where their like fiscal year ends in March.
Yeah, or I just assume maybe they do bonuses before tax season, so it, you know, whatever. I literally don't know that part, so it's, you know, but it's also not relevant. These girls were talking about getting bonuses, and then like one girl said she's going to spend it on this dip, and everyone was having a big mystery to these women what dip she was talking about and where you can get it and what was in the dip. Can you make the dip at home? Like, what?
Searching dip recipes on TikTok. I mean, I'm just getting.
How expensive is this dip?
Yeah, what the hell is this? A truffle dip? What's going on here? How expensive?
Yeah, so that's where we're at on TikTok right now.
Yeah, that's the stuff chicks are up to.
That being said, I'll go the other way because I met a dude at a show that told me he was a big fan, and he goes to the Fox and CNN. Remember the video I made where it was like I self-footaged about Fox and CNN?
Yeah.
And he was like,
classic.
Dude, I love that video. And he goes, dude, that's such a good idea because honestly, you should sell it to both, like blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, obviously it was a comedy sketch. And he couldn't comprehend that I didn't actually do that.
What?
He was like, so dude, how did that even work?
You're racist, right? You're racist? Your Ryan's like, yeah, but it's kind of besides the point. That was a sketch.
This guy was literally, and I said, I was just like, yeah, but I didn't actually like sell to Fox and CNN. He was like, did you have like a contact at either of them? Like, how did you even
like
get it?
I'm not a professional videographer.
And he was like, did you have to use the different, like you could not, I guess he was like kind of drunk, but he was like really, really could not comprehend that I did not do this for real. It was a comedy sketch.
I guess the guy thinks the Undertaker
and I was like,
funeral home.
Dude, I was like, it was a comedy sketch. He was like, definitely that was comedy, man, that you did that. It was really funny.
Dude, life is fucking comedy. Man, life is just full of comedy, right?
So like I was struggling a little bit on that one.
That's rough. That's tough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of suckers out there.
I'll tell you what. It really is a situation where for the last little bit, all these, all the politicians, people, especially, Democrat people, they've definitely been hating on podcasters. They hate us because they ain't us, right?
Pretty much.
And now,
what's the secret sauce?
So they went from they hate us to they ain't us to now they're like, maybe we are you.
Yeah, maybe we are you.
Dude. every single one of these people is like, I'm gonna be a podcaster now.
Yeah.
You know the old thing where it's like it's the meme over and over and over again where they say that there's crypto's stupid, crypto's dumb, and then within 5 years it's why aren't there enough of us in crypto?
Yeah. No, literally like yelling at your husband at crypto's dumb, and then in Bitcoin at 100,000 being like, you fucking idiot. You pathetic loser. You didn't buy any Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? And you're like, you expressly told me not to.
Is that what you've been dealing with?
No, I just literally.
Where's our crypto, Daniel?
No, I essentially wait till my wife goes, we should own Bitcoin. And I go, short. The moment my wife.
Sure.
Every time.
That's smart.
Dude, literally every time she's like not financially literate, every time she's ever said to own anything, it's been like Pico top.
Really?
NVIDIA. She goes, why don't we own any NVIDIA? It was like maybe the all-time high within like a dollar. Bitcoin, like I think at 110K. She's like, why don't we own Bitcoin? I'm like, that's probably a good short right there.
Not bad. So Michelle Obama's got a podcast. Gavin Newsom's got a podcast.
Yep.
Fucking Meghan Markle's show that you were demanded that I do a review of. I watched an episode against my will. But the Michelle Obama one, I mean, first of all,
I mean, at least she's leaning into the name, calling it Big Mike, MIC. That's funny. That's a funny name.
Big
Yes. Mike podcasting.
Fuck, that'd be good shit. Big Mike MIC.
The Big Mike Hour.
The Big Mike Hour. She has a big mic in it.
Like literally, if she did do that, like if she had a little tongue-in-cheek nod to those people, like people would be like, you know what, she's actually not that bad. Like people would be like, that's actually pretty funny and like pretty.
If she did that would be a hilarious podcast move. If she said that her thing's Big Mike with Big Mike with Big Mike,
like those huge MAGA hats, like just like a huge mic,
microphone,
like when they just both have. We go, yeah, we just have big mics. I don't know, and then that's it. She just just big mics. I don't know. This is podcast. We have big mics.
Or Mike and Ike, and she has a guy named Ike. No, that is pretty funny. And it is weird watching because some people are hitting her on the fact that it has like low views or whatever, which was kind of.
It doesn't. I looked it up right before here. I mean, for her they're low, but they're still
20,000 views.
No, now they're like a few 100K. But the problem is they're mostly hate watches.
Nah, there was one episode that had that much, and it's a big steep drop off as you.
Yeah, but if you look at the comments, it was like 200, and then because you always go check like what are the comments like to see like are they like juicing the views, and it had like 10,000 comments. They were all negative.
Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird watching her do ad reads? Did you see that?
No, I didn't watch it.
Or not her, but they do them, and it's like. Nothing. This
podcast is brought to you by Raytheon. Raytheon for all your missile needs. Bunker busters, all of them.
Like
JDAMs, all the
drone grease.
Like literally, like what's she advertising?
Sprock. No, she's advertising shit that like the
Goldman Sachs,
the Pentagon would buy though. So she was like, "This is brought to you by like a $450 washer." Yeah. This is for all your washer needs. When you're, when you're firing up that drone, you need to make those washers are good. You're probably wondering why a normal washer costs 10 cents and these ones are $450 a piece. But this is primo grand stuff.
If you're looking to drone strike a brown wedding, you got to use these washers.
Everyone knows that your wedding day is a really hard time. And no one, you don't want to be getting married to the wrong person. And that's why we can make that stop with Raytheon's drones.
Do you have anxiety over your wedding? Wouldn't you like there to just not be a wedding?
What about your in-laws? Whole problem go
what about
away?
Those annoying, pesky in-laws and, your third to eighth cousins?
Everyone hates weddings. Yeah, there is something so weird about, like, just that level of power sort of, now doing and you have radio to, ad read.
And never reference it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what, people who are listening, if Ryan and I were had that level of Michelle Obama power, that somehow we got to that point, we'd be flexing on it all day.
I think
we wouldn't be pretending like, oh, we're just some meek podcasters. We'd be like, sign up for the Patreon, we're going to drone strike your town.
At your own, at your own peril.
Don't.
Yeah, or don't like, or share, don't. Subscribe.
Yeah. Well, freeze your bank accounts. Don't.
Yeah. You can use it on the BOYSCAST Patreon, or we could freeze your bank accounts. I mean, either one actually works for me.
Up to you.
To be honest, I actually like to do that. So please, I'm begging you.
Yeah.
You know what the problem was, though? And this is from someone who's been podcasting for a long time.
Sure.
These guys are sort of new to our industry. I'm sure if I ran for office, the Obamas might have a lot to say to me of what I should do.
They might
You know
have
what I mean?
Some helpful tips.
Right. Well, this is the big thing Michelle Obama's screwing up on, right? And the reason, her whole thing is like pure therapy talk, right? So it's very, very much girl podcast therapy talk. Like,
Yeah, like she's like you have a lot of trauma from drowning your chef.
Trump.
I mean, he was such a loyal chef, and we just had to take him out. He knew too much, you know? It's like, how do you deal with that trauma?
It's really hard when, you just spend so much time with someone and then they're just not in your life anymore at your own hand.
Hillary showed me how to do that. So,
And then there's decisions that you'll have to live with. Obviously they won't have to live with it, but there's some people
they're floating in a pond now. But
So my problem is she's doing this therapy talk, which is a very popular girl podcast. What she's missing.
That's what the world needs too. Another one of those.
Well, this is the thing that she's missing. The girl podcasts that do therapy, they pivoted into therapy after they're a successful slut podcast.
Right.
Michelle Obama thinks she could
you
skip
gotta
being
do
a
the
slut
slut arc.
podcast and then just be a therapy podcast. You have to do the slut podcast, then you do the therapy podcast.
Right, but she kind of did like the murder arc. So
the murder podcast don't get to. If you're doing the
but
murder
what if you're
podcast,
doing the murdering? Because they're generally commentating on the murdering. Like, what if you have real blood on your hands?
give me an example of where it's worked.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
trying to reinvent
this is
the wheel.
uncharted territory right here because she has a very specific scope of skills.
She needs to be out there talking about masturbation first. She needs to be
just like reviewing different wands.
That is actually what she needs to be doing. She's trying to skip to like call her daddy's like I'm all grown up era, but you have to go through your female slut podcast era before you get there.
What do you think?
Find me a successful one that didn't do their slut arc first.
That's a good point. She should have that guy who who said he was fucking blowing Barack Obama and doing meth together on for a sit down.
Yes,
that would literally like people are like that broke the internet. That would like
that's what I'm wondering.
That would do Trump Rogan numbers.
I'm wondering if the getting in the podcast game, they're starting to realize like Michelle Obama starts getting into the JQ pipeline. Like
yeah, how long before that?
I think that she needs to stir up some energy, and the therapy isn't stirring up energy.
No.
That's like you've already done your slut shit, you've been saying crazy shit, and then now you're trying to be a real podcast.
Right.
She thinks she just gets to skip to that.
Skip to just straight real podcast.
Now
she thinks she's just Barbara Walters now.
She thinks she can just skip right into being waltz right in. She thinks she can Tim Waltz right in.
Tim Roll, yeah.
This is I do like the idea that there is something that kind of like these for the last like 5-6 years, a lot of politicians, a lot of people even adjacent to entertainment, all these people got to be like, I would never do a podcast. I'm above that.
Of course. Yeah.
And now
it was slumming it for a while.
Now they sort of all have to like come crawling in.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. I know. It's like, what, Netflix didn't have a deal for you? I guess you already had her Netflix deal and it bombed, and you're like...
She knows podcasting's where it's at, man.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you another thing. I'd like to see some other things. This is my pitch, since ex-presidents and their wives, I'd like to see Bill Clinton do like a red pill podcast where he has all the hoes.
Yeah.
Like
he's on whatever.
Yeah, I want to see him do his own.
He goes, I'm a high value man.
What's your body count?
I'm a Rhodes Scholar. Bill, what's your body count? I don't know, 4,000 maybe. Oh, wait, are we talking kills? Or, what are we talking about here?
That's what I'm saying, man. You telling me you couldn't picture Slick Willie at a table with just like 5 Miami club hoes asking their body count and shit?
Yeah. That'd be great. The question is how many episodes does she do before she's like, fuck this?
I think they don't do that many.
They don't do that many. Yeah, like this isn't like I could see actually Gavin Newsom.
It's her and her brother. They ran out of stuff to talk about, by the way.
I thought it was the guy from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Also, she's lifting a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, stuff like, we always reference that, what's the Brian Regan bit?
Yeah.
Like where he did the golf bit?
Yeah.
Like she was doing a version of that. Like at one point, she always says my husband, right? I was knee deep listening to this bullshit for the last hour. The things I do for this podcast. She's like, and that's the thing sometimes with my husband. Like she doesn't call
him Brock.
Or
Barry.
Yeah, Merkel was doing this same thing. They talk about their husband like as if they're trying to seem like they're normal.
Right.
So she goes, and my husband, like for example, when I'm with my friends, she took like 40 minutes to get the Brian Regan bit out. She's like, with my friends, we're out there, sometimes she'll come home from work and be like, and then I'll talk to her on the phone, and I obviously know her things. I go, what's that problem with that, person at your work? Because I know I was paying attention last time I talked, and she says, how's that thing that you've been dealing with in the household? I go, well, I've got this where my husband comes home from golf. She literally uses golf. She goes, comes home from golf, and his wife could have cancer. And I go, how was that? And he goes, I didn't talk about it. And I go, she's like doing Brian. She did the
the Brian Regan bit.
Yeah, like it's like a classic. You know what I mean?
And she's just kind of stealing bits. You got to juice up your pod.
Well, my point is maybe not stealing, but it's like...
Brian Regan, be a fucking man, say something.
That is so funny, accusing Michelle Obama of lifting your stuff.
Michelle Obama stole my joke.
My point is not to say that she's lifting or whatever.
Yeah.
My point is to say that she is... already out of stuff to talk about.
Well, here's the thing. She has
2.
lots to talk about. She's not allowed to say any
She's not going to say any of
it.
it.
The stuff that we want to hear from her and the stuff she really can add value and be like, this is interesting, she's not allowed to say any of it. She's very guarded.
And that's why they need a format. Bill Clinton kicking girls out because they disrespected him.
Get out of here, you whore.
The original Steve the Steve Wilkos version of just kicking people off. That kind of thing. Maybe Obama could come out and do like a hustle mindset podcast.
Just with the fucking Zuckerberg chain and like
Mark. Yeah, I just see Obama come out, just do full out failures for pussies. There's days I woke up, I didn't want a drone strike, but that's what you do. You put your mindset,
Yeah. Grindset. Sigma Grindset Obama. I like it.
So
not good. You listened to the whole episode?
No. Michelle Obama, I put in like a good 40 minutes on it.
Bad. That's
I listened on double time though, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to listen on double time.
And then...
What's the brother up to? What does he say?
I don't know where this brother came from. He's just kind of...
they cast him.
The brother's like a normal guy. Yeah, it feels like the brother was cast.
Like there's just an audition of just bald black dudes and just...
They try to talk cool, too, a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, jive talking. Jive talking.
It's interesting to watch, I'll tell you that much. But... on the other, it feels like they're doing life backwards. Like you could see someone being a podcaster and then they get like, very popular. They get into politics. It's another thing, like being the first lady, you're multi-millionaires. And then it's kind of like, it feels like they're going backwards or something.
Because again, it's not like you're going to make any money that's consequential to you out of this. So it's definitely not a money.
It's like when you see Jimmy Fallon doing like TikTok dances, you're like, you don't have enough money.
Yeah, exactly. But again, you're like, you guys were getting like 20 million deal or like 40 million from Netflix. For
and now she's doing an ad read on 60K fucking viewers.
Yeah. So you're like, what is the point of this other than maybe some sort of like brand rehabilitation, or something? I don't know, but they're like, it's not even like I guess maybe their whole thing is they're like, we need to reform the Democratic Party.
Yes, it's obviously that's kind of what it is. And that's the other, so leading
maybe she's running for, maybe it's a presidential run.
Newsom's podcast is doing
that would actually be the most, my best guess is that she's gearing up for 2028 and this is the start of it.
10 years from now, you're not going to be able to run from president unless you have a podcast, it feels like.
Oh, hell no.
Well, Newsom... they don't like what Newsom's been doing.
No, I mean, because
he's actually been doing kind of interesting things.
Yeah, the Steve Bannon episode was good.
New York Times says, what on earth is Gavin Newsom doing?
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, if you're like a hardcore lefty, you're probably like, yeah, why are you talking like cordially with Steve Bannon, the guy who's currently responsible for destroying America?
And he's like, if I'm running for president, you're going to vote for me anyway, so I'm not worried about you. But I'll say, whether you like it or not, because I kind of see both sides of that, where maybe this is good, maybe it's not. It was sort of ballsy of Gavin Newsom to like have all these wild people on.
The question is does he gain more people from the right than he loses up from the left?
From the center. I don't think he's...
or whatever, but like the people who probably were left-leaning who then wound up voting for Trump and who probably identify as centrist, like, does he pick off more of those people than he loses from like the... very...
See, I'll say to you, it's less of that. You ever... like in a like you ever been like in an argument with someone and you have a point and they just keep saying like they won't, like they just keep like ignoring it, and it's like just the most infuriating thing.
Correct.
Whereas if someone at least like kind of hears you and they're like, okay, I understand where you're coming from for that,
Sure.
like, or even when you're talking to a girl, like you diffuse, like it's like you're not just saying no, you're crazy or you're racist. Like I think him just doing that for some people are like, all right, he's kind of, at least he's not crazy. So I think some people
for sure. They're like, he's just having, going back to like, hey, people who disagree can have a civil conversation.
You're getting caught up on the details.
Yeah.
The more important part here is that Gavin Newsom, and this is my message to him, he has to realize that, first of all, 20 of these, he's getting destroyed.
Oh, absolutely.
And
they're accusing him of right washing. That's the new hot term, alert, right washing. That's what he's doing. That's what they're calling him.
No, they didn't hear that.
Oh yeah. That's the accusation, is he's right washing his previous stances and whatnot.
Oh, that's funny.
He went so far left, I guess, and now he's because he's legitimately, he's like, I
oh man, the guy's a leaf in the wind wherever the wind goes.
He's like, you know what? I don't think women should play in men's sports or whatever. And you're like, you didn't think that 3 months ago?
Yeah.
And you go, well, now I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
convenient.
That is true. And again, I'm down to discuss that, but I have more podcast advice. I'm more coming at this from a podcasting perspective. Gavin Newsom has to understand that you are not going to get a single piece of good. Has any podcast in the history of like male podcasting got a good review ever?
That's a good point.
You're just like, you have to understand the press is the natural enemy of podcasting.
Right.
So
yeah. You're literally coming for their.
You go, if you're deciding to do a podcast, the like mainstream press, that is your mortal enemy now.
Sure.
No matter how you slice it. Oh, you're just like a white male podcaster. You're like, I mean, unless you're fucking Full Force 5, what were they called?
Oh, Strike Force 5?
Strike Force 5.
Oh, man. Missed that podcast. That was the biggest piece of shit of all time.
Unless you're Strike Force 5, as a dude, if you're a white dude doing a podcast, actually getting into like real conversations, the chance that you will have a positive piece of press is zero.
Yeah, pretty zero. That's the thing, is you can, if he wanted to just be like, I'm just going to interview all the same people on the left, then you're just like, you're going to get no press.
What's the point? Yeah.
What's the point? Zero press. Or you can do something like this, controversial, and then it's all negative press.
Yeah.
But there's no such thing as bad press, and I think Gavin Newsom probably knows that.
And he's kind of, he is kind of, I did admit to your point where it was like a lot. He was just like, wow, he went from, what would be described as like a pretty like crazy, like left-wing stances on everything to being like, talking with Charlie Kirk, complimenting him, being like, "Oh, my son's a big fan."
Yeah,
and all this stuff. And
exactly.
Like, so
like agreeing on
Bannon.
the thing with Steve Bannon. You're like, okay, that's that's a tactic, I suppose.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess after he kind of. I mean, he managed, dude, he's so slick though. Like he literally like fucking
he's so
the
slick.
LA fires are like in the rearview mirror at this point. Like you're like, yo, you were like kind of.
The man's good at this. That
guy is so. He's good at being a
you know what I kind of described Gavin Newsom as? It was more just like if you were. I don't know if I said this to you, but I was like, I thought a perfect description was if you were at like a wedding and Gavin Newsom was like your wife's friend's like husband, and you're just like, oh, it's the four of us at a table. You'd have a fun time. You'd be like pretty decent guy to get.
Solid
you're like,
guy.
Obviously he's fun, like, you know what I mean. He's probably a cool guy, like to some degree.
You'd be defending, like on the drive home, she'd be like, you know what that guy has done, and you'd be like,
pretty fun guy.
Yeah, so what? It's like, sick guy though.
But yeah,
he fucking banged his campaign manager's wife. You go, look, it happens.
You go, come to think of it, he was pointing out girls that he thought were pretty hot.
Yeah, he was just nonstop wouldn't. You go, yeah, it's weird behavior, but it's a wedding.
He goes, check this out. He goes, spits on his plate. He goes, like another one. He goes.
He's definitely the guy where he eats all his food and then the waiter comes and goes, how was it? He goes, hated it. Gross.
Yeah, definitely.
Gross.
He's definitely got some fucking lulls in him.
Yeah, he's got some bits.
Boys, it can be hard to find the perfect wardrobe, especially the perfect transitional wardrobe with a tailored fit. Keeps you looking good and comfortable when you go to the gym, date night, when the weather's moving around, winter, cold to spring. You may have trouble accentuating the right parts of your body. Like we're talking making those arms look good without, sometimes you're getting old. You got a little something downstairs. Yes, we're just
boiler.
True Classic is the perfect classic wardrobe for you. I got right now, my closet looks like Batman, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got like 5 of them. I actually have done back-to-back days.
You're a shirt hanging man?
Yeah, of course I'm a shirt hanging man.
Yeah, I hang some shirts.
Yeah, I can't be drying shirts, man. I'm 6'3", you know what it is.
Yeah.
Although these are, it's not going to be a problem with the classic.
No, sure. I got my own right now, actually.
Yeah, it's a great shirt, and I've found multi-purpose because they're right. You can go to the gym with them. They sort of have a lounging look. They kind of look nice enough to wear at other places. It's premium clothes, an affordable price. They got active, moisture wicking, odor fighting, quick drying, antimicrobial magic, spring essentials. We're talking the Pine Crew short sleeve, comfort knit button up, the comfort knit chino shorts, classic twill shorts. It's hard to find clothes that are just tailored to fit perfectly. So head on over, check out the best-selling t-shirts, hoodies, and jeans. They come in 3-packs, 6-packs, 9-packs, 6-pack.
Woo! Suck it.
The more you bundle, the more you save. Mix and match clothing to work with your lifestyle. Free shipping on all orders. 100% perfect fit guaranteed. Whether you're bundling up for the cold or getting ready for the spring, level up your style with clothes that actually fit right. Just go to the exclusive link at trueclassic.com/boyscast to save. That is trueclassic.com/boyscast. Shop now. Elevate your wardrobe today. Boys, it's possible you're finding it difficult to find time for a complete balanced meal, and that's where Huel comes in. Huel, which we're talking Huel, Huel, today's sponsor of the BOYSCAST. Their Black Edition ready-to-go drink is a complete meal in a bottle. I personally can tell you that these have been game changer. We have a bunch of them in the studio.
Yeah, they're so good.
I have a bunch of them at my house, and I also have the powder in my house, so I've been rocking that.
I mean, best way if you want to get a nice little shot of protein in you.
I know.
Yeah.
And also late night sometimes I've been hitting that where it's like instead of, you're just like, well, I don't need to really do it.
You don't need 4 bags of popcorn. Just have a Huel.
Yeah. No, I love the Huel too, man.
Yeah.
So we have, like I said, I have them every place that I am, full of 35 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, plus it's low in sugar, all in a handy bottle. Huel is the complete global nutrition brand with over 500 million meals sold. For new customers shopping at Huel.com, you can try 15% off plus a free gift using our exclusive code BOYSCAST at Huel.com. Huel's a perfectly balanced meal designed by experts to provide the nutrients your body needs from a meal, takes the guesswork out of healthy eating. Huel is incredibly affordable with high protein meals, less than $5. It's a budget-friendly option that I'm genuinely excited about. If you want to talk the Black Edition ready to drink, these are a whopping 35 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, all in one bottle. So access these quick and easy made meals has never been so easy and tasted so good. So we're talking, once again, 15% plus a free gift for new customers using the code BOYSCAST at Huel.com. Please see the description for the terms and conditions. Unlock a healthier, easier way to eat with Huel. Nutritionally complete meals in minutes so you can focus on what really matters. Well, this article has been going aggressive on him. Well, there is, in fact, a lot of Democrats can learn from Charlie Kirk and Bannon on building alternative media channels. There is nothing to be gained by seeking mutual understanding.
All right, well, that's one opinion. Says the Democrats with the current 27% approval rating.
Yes, says low approval rating. Some dumb,
historically
blogger.
low approval rating, like literally so in the dumps, where he's the one guy who's like, yeah, this is like essentially a nuclear option. You're like, it's not like, he wouldn't be doing this if it was like 52-45.
I know.
Like, he's like, we're getting smoked right now. Like, something needs to change. And he's probably...
Well, the old one was, the old Democrat was more of like, You have the I know that, like, you know, truckers are gonna think but I'm actually, and maybe we might disagree a bit on social issues, but I'm gonna make you better off.
Yeah, of
you
course.
Know, and you're kind of,
and
and also I'm not gonna insult you. I'm like you're.
Yeah, for sure. And we're like we care about the middle class and the lower class.
Everyone can probably agree the insulting people for votes is not working out for that much anymore.
No, definitely not. The whole like elitist vibe, and that's even like with the bandit thing. He admits, he's like, yeah, you know, the Democratic Party is just like now the corporate elitist party, and which obviously used to be the opposite of that. And he's just like, yeah, you know, we got to reform it. And so he's listening, I guess, and he definitely is campaigning. That's for sure.
Oh, that's campaigning for sure.
Oh, they both are. I think they both are, like him and Michelle Obama. Like they have designs on 2028, no question. Who else is going to run?
Well, he's probably doing a better version because he's probably actually getting people sort of paying attention to him. I can't imagine Michelle Obama's therapy talk podcast is gonna be good.
No, also, like, you know, that's probably the New York Times, like, you know, hating on him.
And they probably love Michelle Obama's.
Yeah, but exactly. But the New York Times probably hating on him is probably somewhat of an endorsement if you're some sort of centrist right person. You go,
that's so true.
Right? You go, oh, actually, fucking me and my enemy, the New York Times, and the New York Times doesn't like Gavin Newsom. Well, then I might like Gavin Newsom.
It's such a funny point that, like, some of these politicians have been realized that, like, the media liking them makes them do worse.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, certain media outlets, absolutely.
Being a media darling, is not. Yeah, certain media places being their darling. I mean, definitely there's, how many publications do we know that if they give you a list of top 10 comedians, you're basically like, okay, so here's a list of who sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. You go, who are these people? I know they suck.
Yeah, I don't know many of these comedians, but you're like, I know that they're not good.
Yeah, if they got Variety's fucking stamp of approval, you're like, probably not a good thing.
I don't know the specific ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely, you know, like, you'll see CBC articles of this and that, and you're just like,
they're all in wheelchairs, huh? What are the odds? I didn't even know there were that many wheelchaired comedians, let alone the 10 best ones in Canada are all in wheelchairs.
So the media is kind of the same thing in some ways for politicians, where they go, you know, these are our 3 politicians to watch, and you're like, oh, 3 must misses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, with movies, I feel, and movies and TV shows, I feel a little bit like that too. It's like, these people have lost all credibility in every which way.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, if they tell me you got to watch a TV show, it's the best thing ever. And, you know, I work at BuzzFeed, and you can't miss this. You're just like fucking. I'm not even gonna not watch the TV show. I might delete the service that has it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, speaking of the New York Times, not to go back to
no, I'm listening.
Go back to COVID, but the New York Times put out article saying we were badly misled about the event that changed our lives, referencing COVID. This is like the New York Times.
I wonder who we were badly misled by.
Yeah, no shit. You're like, fuck you. Just take some responsibility. It's like insane the kind of slop they put out. They go, we were badly misled. It's literally fucking the hot dog costume. It's Tim Robinson. It goes, I just want to find out who misled us. That's what I want to find out. I would just love to know who misled us. And you go, are you guys fucking serious?
This is... No, it is. It's your girl having a cake that she was about to bring to like a baby shower, and she comes in and your face is covered in chocolate, and she was like, where's the cake? And you go, whoever stole this...
Dude, it's literally OJ. It goes, I'd like to find the real killers. We're all just looking for the real killers.
Whoever took this cake down, I'm going to spend the rest of my life finding them. This has to stop.
This has to stop now.
We're going to have to get our locks changed.
Yeah, you're really going through it. You go, I'm calling a locksmith right now. I don't care if they charge extra for coming immediately.
Because this is important. You're just covered in chocolate.
Yeah. Like the kid from Matilda.
The can in the cookie jar, yeah. So, yeah, New York Times, it's like... I mean,
like, dude, they have 1,700 paid journalists. You're like, we were misled. You're like, so you basically came.
Did you fire him?
Yeah, no shit. You're like, also like, so you just arrived with 1,700 paid journalists. You arrived at the conclusion after 5 years that everybody on Twitter knew 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Good journalism, New York Times.
It's funny being like, New York Times does a press conference and they're like, we found the culprit, ladies and gentlemen. And it's like, and we fired him. It's like the janitor.
Yeah.
And they're just like, we've taken care of the problem. He will not be in this office
So it
anymore.
turns out that we actually had an article ready to go in 2021 saying that the lab leak theory was in fact correct and that it was not from a wet market, but then it was left on the desk of our reporter. He didn't save a backup, and then the janitor threw it out thinking it was garbage, and then we kind of just lost track of it.
And we have relegated the janitor to the storage room. He will be no longer on the news floor.
Yeah,
The whole problem has been
he will be cleaning the atrium where nothing like this could ever happen again. We are sorry.
The good news is we can move past it and it's all been
So
solved.
you can just renew your New York Times subscriptions. All is good.
Actually, on the topic of janitors, I had two ex-girlfriends of mine were on a set together.
Okay.
And then both sent me photos being like, look who I met, like recently.
Yeah.
And there's a photo of the two of them, and I was literally just like, huh. I was like, fuck. And then me and Waldo were saying that, like, I have to go into set as a janitor. And then it's like, I have a disguise on. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't recommend you two hanging out together.
No, you're like mopping between them, like to try to get them apart. Oh, social distancing. We're still doing that here in Canada. Come on. 12 feet. You go, I thought it was sexy. It's 12 feet. 12 feet.
Literally, it's just like, what? There's not even really anything that could happen. It was just like, what?
No, the only thing
you just know. All I know is I don't like it.
You just literally one texts you. He goes, look who I met. She goes, she's a liar. The other one texts you. Look who I met. She's a liar.
Be careful with her, man.
Yeah, you got to pit them like Survivor style against each other. She goes, oh, that's a. Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, it's pretty traumatic what she did to me. You literally have the same text for both of them. I go, don't. She's a snake. Don't show her these texts.
She has a very contagious skin disease. Stay 5 minutes away.
Yeah, she has that the substance thing. It'll age you really fast. You guys got just nowhere near each other.
Well, that's New York Times.
The Lion New York Times.
Yeah, so the Newsom has been getting crushed on his ratings, but I do think on press. But I think that he has to accept that. Yeah, that's what happens.
Well, he knew it. He had no question. You go, you're the.
Well, they're going the opposite. They go, Newsom has done long-lasting damage to his standing among Democrats who are desperate for leaders who will fight on their behalf, not seek communion for the enemies.
Sure.
But it's funny,
again,
though.
It's like you status quo, and then you have, status quo gets me a 27% approval rating, maybe less because I'm Gavin Newsom. So you're like, what's there to possibly lose by this?
Yeah. And also, once again, you're like, if I was running for president, he goes, all these people, you're going to vote for me. Yeah, you're going to vote for me.
Okay, vote for J.D. Vance then. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Vote for J.D. Vance because you don't like that I talked to fucking Steve Bannon.
Yeah, I got news for you. You're going to be voting for me.
Yeah. I mean, if you
wait till you find out that I'm going to have to talk to Putin.
Yeah. I mean, if you want Project 2029 to happen, that's fine. Go ahead, vote for J.D. Vance, or you can vote for me. And I'll just do Project 2025. So.
Right. Those people aren't going anywhere, so that's not who you're talking to. I guess that's his thinking.
Yeah. I think that's smart. I think it's actually a smart move on his part.
Anyways, it's interesting watching these people try to enter the
our space.
Yeah, kind of. Dude, the Meghan Markle show. I don't know what the fuck this was.
That was the one where I can't watch it.
Well, no, last episode I was talking about her show, and then Danny basically said I should review it.
Yeah. So let's get the review.
Well, first of all,
cooking show?
Yeah, it's a trad wife Instagram channel. It's legitimately $100 million Netflix show that is her doing a trad wife. First of all, she does when she's doing the things.
Yeah,
it's so nothing.
Yeah,
she's like, okay, I'm making toast now, and then she takes the toast out and she walks to the table. She goes, doop, 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 doop. She makes noises like that. Like,
really?
Yeah, it's like someone that's just like killing time. They have nothing to do.
Yeah,
she goes,
nothing.
All right, I'll just get some mayonnaise here. She's doing stuff like that the whole time.
Just kind of like fishing through the drawer for the right knife.
Yes. That's like 7 minutes of the show. She's like eating a yogurt parfait, and then she brings Mindy Kaling in a yogurt parfait, and she's a very gorgeous yogurt parfait. And she goes, "Yeah, the kids really like yogurt parfaits." At one point, she goes, "I'm going to show you how to make balloons," and then she fucking
like blow up a balloon.
That's correct. And then she brings in a machine that brings up the balloons and tells you where to get the machine. There's about a 3-minute montage of her blowing up balloons.
Oh, yeah, rich people. That's how they use the machine. God forbid they use their own air. God forbid.
4 or 5 minutes of blowing up balloons.
Like, unless it's 400 balloons. Like,
then,
it's 3 balloons. You go, you just use your mouth.
Yeah. Well, then she makes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's. I want some. Then she goes, she's making.
And, like, are there recipes? Is this like, go to this website, get the recipe?
Not that I saw.
It's just watch me cook?
She goes, sometimes I like to put the berries in a rainbow. I also looked at some of the press, so I'll tell you what the people have been saying about it. But she goes, yeah, I like to put berries in a rainbow. And then she goes, sometimes I like honey. And then she's in now she's in a beekeeper outfit. And she's trying to pretend. The whole gist of the thing is her being like, I'm just a normal
person. Yeah. I mean, you guys all have a colony of bees, right? You have your own colony of bees, right? This is kind of connecting with normal people, right?
I wanted them to release the B-roll because you could tell 100% that she was just like, okay. And then what I like to do is, put the yogurt and then I put the berry in the yogurt and cut. What the fuck are you looking at me for?
My hand touched the yogurt.
Can we get
There's yogurt on my hand. Slave. I mean, PA, get this off my hand.
She drills in I probably watched the one episode. She probably said, and then the trailer. She said 19 times that when I'm making lunch for my kids and breakfast for my kids every single morning, I make them breakfast and blah, blah. And you're like, why? Like,
yeah.
Why are you making your kids breakfast? First of all,
she doesn't do anything. Why not?
Unless
what the hell does she do? She gets her fucking Suits royalty check.
One of the big controversies is that the Mindy Kaling goes, "You're Meghan Markle," and she goes,
Oh, it's because she's
it's funny because you keep calling me Merkel, but I'm Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex.
Oh, she doesn't like she wants to be the Duchess.
So she doesn't go by Meghan Markle. She's the Duchess of Sussex.
The Duchess of Sussex.
Yeah, and she did not like Kaling saying that. You know what I'm saying?
Really? Yeah.
There's like
when you're losing Mindy Kaling on your bullshit,
there's 5 or 6 times you almost see Meghan Markle crack, and she's like, you know what? I'm making the grab bags, and I just. Like you could see her just about to fucking like you could see as soon as Harry walks into the door, she's gonna be like, how was it?
Oh yeah, that's the real show is if you could see them behind the scenes.
She's doing the Michelle Obama where this business where you show people a curated version of yourself. People aren't that interested in.
No, I want to see you pour scalding tea onto it.
That being said, I don't know who the fuck watches this stuff to begin with. I've heard they said it's supposed to be like kind of what Martha Stewart did, so maybe my mom. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
My mom likes the royal family stuff. I will say that.
I mean, this is for women and gay guys, obviously, but
the women who watch Coronation Street, then this.
I guess.
By the way, the internet's been rocking my mom lately. She sent me a picture of Joe Rogan and the North Korea girl, where someone photoshopped Joe Rogan to make him way smaller. And she was like, I didn't realize how small. They made him 2'1".
I didn't realize how big that chick's cans are.
My mom sent it to me being like, I didn't realize he was that small. I go, yeah, that's like clearly photoshopped.
She saw it on Facebook?
The wall's doing like a fucking...
Yeah, wavy wall or whatever. Was that a Facebook post?
No, she's texted it to me.
But she found it on Facebook?
Of course.
Oh, because I'll say this. I made that 60 Minutes sketch, the USAID one, and it went kind of viral on Facebook.
Yeah.
100% of the comments were like, this like basically believed it was real.
My mom would get rocked by your
100
videos.
Dude, and then there were all these people. There was this one woman who in the Facebook comments was like, everybody's like, this has got to be fake, and she's like, no, this is not fake. Like she was replying to every comment that was saying this isn't real, like, or like maybe this is satire, this is so unbelievable, and she would be like, no, this is real. Like she would like literally go reply to every comment.
Their brains are fried, bro.
Rotten on Facebook. Rotten.
The internet's not good and ChatGPT is gonna, and like AI and stuff, like, put a fork in anyone over 60, man.
Oh, they're donezo. They're donezo. Yeah, like I literally posted those AI sketches on Facebook, and I'm just like, literally, what is the point actually, other than just rile up boomers? I don't get anything out of it. Like I'm not gonna sell one ticket or have one follow.
That's not true. It's some people know they're not fake.
Not based on the comments.
Facebook, you're saying not on
Facebook. Oh yeah, not like on Twitter. Like it is interesting. Like Twitter and YouTube, the most people, like most percentage of people realize it's fake, and then Facebook is the least percentage by far, and then TikTok's somewhere in between. Yeah, but like Facebook is like 100% of people are like, this is real, and I'm infuriated.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if my mom's watching this or whatever. It sounds like it was a bomb, but like it's interesting because this one, at least the Michelle Obama, it's just kind of like no one's seeing it, whatever. The Merkel one, people aren't liking it.
No.
Because this is what I think they don't realize is because, she was sort of like hopping on some of the trends being like, I'm a fucking black woman. People are racist towards me.
Sure.
Like it's hard.
It's hard
it's
being
a hard
the
life.
Duchess of Sussex.
I'm fighting against racism. Like I'm fighting against sexism. She was sort of on that. When that sort of died out, now she's sort of saying a version of I'm just normal, but she's not realizing in the last year the level that everyone hates rich people now.
Yeah.
Like right now there's like
her specifically.
Her too, but would you not agree that like right now there's like kind of like a boiling more than ever like hate for rich people?
Yeah.
Probably some of it comes from Elon and some of but so her thing like, and the TikTok and those kind of younger people, like they really hate this bullshit. So everything she does, if someone writes an article being like, for example, she's making pasta and like there's 40 articles being like just proving how rich she is because she makes pasta in white clothes and no one would ever do that.
Sure.
She was doing ridiculous things. Says she gives her kids pasta and it's like it's the worst lunch ever. Your mom packs you a bowl of fucking pasta. Crappy thing.
Kids are picky eaters.
Yeah, so then there's like a few other like controversies. People were getting mad, and then people, she's making the berries, and everyone was like, yeah, I don't have a fucking $25 every morning to make berries. So
sure.
most of the Discord was like, you fucking rich bitch,
elitist piece of shit.
Yeah, you rich bitch, and everyone else was like.
I mean, I guess she gets a fucking bag out of it though, so for her, she probably has to just kind of.
It really felt like.
Just a money move.
Well, to me, that wasn't what I was going to say. I was going to say this felt like you had like a wife that was like losing her mind. And then she was like convincing you like I'm a celebrity or whatever, but she's like losing her mind. And then you kind of like put her in a room and the cameras aren't on. And you're like, you have a cooking show.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like putting her like it felt like an insane person kind of where she's just like, okay. And then you're like, also you have crafts. And she's like, and then she's like gluing popsicle sticks together. And you're like, how are the ratings? And you're like, you're the biggest star in the world. And she's like, okay, and now you make cereal. And she's like, and then I pour the milk. And you have like people without actual, I
guess she is an actor.
Felt like a crazy person doing this.
Yeah, it's like, I guess she's like playing the role of that person.
A trad wife.
Yeah, she's like, I'm just like, this is my new role as an actor. So I'm like cooking.
Yeah.
And just doing this.
Well, I guess you got to respect these people's just like tenacity and will for fame.
Look,
where it's like
if Netflix came to me and they go $20 million for you to make PB&Js and be a sociopath, I'd be like, put on my smock.
Okay, but what if you already had $20 million and much more than that?
That's a good point.
Like, is there a point where you might not?
Well, didn't
that's what I'm saying. You have to
off?
You have to like respect the level of like they don't know humiliations enough. Like the only thing that matters is like more eyeball. Like you have to almost like you respect the level that they're just like a Hollywood like specimen made in a lab.
I know, yeah, because that's crazy too. Because like they must have some friends and stuff, and their friends have to pretend that this is like good.
Her friends coming up to her being like, dude, that episode where you fucking did the bees?
Yeah, like it's just like literally
I need to get some bees.
Like you cannot, there's zero
Where did you get those bees? Because I'm looking.
She goes, one of the bees stung me, and so I.
Would you mind if I get your bee guy's number?
Yeah, exactly. You have a bee guy? This dude's Bee Guy to the Stars. He's got to have a spin-off, the Bee Guy to the Stars.
Bee Guy to the Stars. Bee Guy to the Stars would definitely have a reality show.
I mean, that would be a better show. It'd be like this bee guy trying to train these fucking idiots how to set up a bee hive in the backyard, and they're all getting stung by bees.
It was ridiculous.
I mean, look, if you go, there's a show where Meghan Markle gets stung by a bee 45 times, I'm like, I'm watching.
You know what? The problem with their curated shit is if she got stung, they would have cut it out. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I'll tell you,
and they probably would have been like, "No, this is good to leave in. It'll like make you more."
And she was like,
relatable."
"Fuck you."
She goes, "Absolutely not."
Absolutely not. When there was the Mindy Kaling thing, when Mindy Kaling goes Meghan Markle and she goes Duchess of Sussex,
Yeah.
I noticed that there was like a hard cut in the conversation
Right.
to something else.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was like 45 minutes of her Mindy Kaling get yelled at, and then they cut back and then they wipe off Mindy Kaling's face. She stops crying and they go, and you know, the thing, like it was real hard cut, but
Yeah, like I would love it if Meghan Markle gets like stung by bees and then just see her return with like a flamethrower to just fucking torch the whole thing. You go, that's good TV right there. That's what really
people would respect, but she doesn't want to seen as like just an evil bitch. Like,
No.
that's the thing. Even Martha Stewart, like people like a sassy, just fucking like,
Yeah.
people do like a bitch.
The thing is, Martha Stewart still
They love
seems
hate a bitch.
authentic. That's the thing. That Martha Stewart still.
Well,
at the end
she'd
of
be
the day-
authentic if she was being a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. But like Martha Stewart seems at least like, you know, that is her authentic self. Where you're like, this is just this whole.
No,
Meghan
but
Markle
that's
thing
because
is
she's trying to be
facade.
like a lovable mother. That's not authentic. If she decided to go the Martha Stewart actual route,
Yeah.
and she was like firing interns on
Oh,
set,
yeah.
like she's basically has to become like, you know,
Hitler.
Amorosa on fucking old school.
right, yeah.
Like she needs to be like, I'm like a cutthroat bitch girl boss,
Right.
and she's like firing everyone on set, like, you know.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, if she pours a coffee in an intern's face, sure, half the people will hate it, but half the people will be like making memes like, I need this level of petty in my life,
yeah,
like
for sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think that's the only way she could do it is you lean in.
Plus, you'll get the guys on board.
Sure.
Yeah, like I would watch that.
Boys, it's about time. And if you're ready to optimize your nutrition this year, Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. The dietitian approved, ready to heat in 2 minutes so you can fuel up great no matter what life throws at you. Actually, last episode, me and Danny had a big conversation that was one of the reasons you lost weight.
Yeah, it's great. It's the biggest key to it is just like you don't think about what you're eating. It's just there, 2 minutes, ready to go.
So you don't end up overeating, you don't end up undereating.
The moment that you start letting your monkey mind be like, oh, what do I feel like right now? And you go, oh, I don't know.
Take the guesswork out.
Yeah, maybe 2 poutines. You go, that's probably not what you want to do to shed some pounds.
It comes in a cool box that actually keeps the thing, because if it gets dropped off at your house and you don't get it for a couple hours, it's got ice packs in it and stuff
and
like that.
my building, man, they're all over the lobby.
Yeah, I know.
People are on it.
People are on it. Factor arrives fresh, fully prepared for any active, busy lifestyle. You can lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor's keto meals based on a randomly controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto. Obviously, results may vary, but these are the kind of results we're talking about. 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week. It's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. So eat smart with Factor, and you get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast. Use the code factorpodcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That is code factorpodcast at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Just like people like to declutter their homes in March, it is also a good time to refresh your nutrition and daily habits. Feeling refreshed and ready starts in your gut, and the pre-probiotics in AG1 helps to support digestion. This is the best way to simplify your morning routine because this has the prebiotics you need, the probiotics you need, the vitamins and nutrients your body needs every morning in just one scoop.
Oh, man, coffee, AG1.
Coffee, AG1, 1 scoop. You're already drinking water in the morning anyway.
Yep, hopefully.
You should be. Well, this is a good way that you don't forget that. And you won't forget this in your routine.
And it tastes good.
I'm going on tour. I have 9 packs right in my...
Ready to
I have
go.
right there for the amount of days that I'm going to be gone because I
Smart
do
man.
not miss. It is a smart man, and I do not
Especially
miss.
when you're on the road, too. You know, your diet's getting a little iffy.
Everything gets a little... Honestly, out of all the things I do, everything I'm off and on here and there sometimes. Some things I'm better than others, but this is one that I almost never forget. So as days are getting longer, the spring is right around the corner, and that means more outdoor activities, fresh energy, and it's a great time to refresh your wellness routine. Maybe you've got off, maybe you're looking for a new way. Drink AG1 Daily Health Drink. And like I've told you guys, there are many people in my life that have got it. So if I was talking to all my friends, which obviously, you know, when the boys get together, people are talking about stuff like this, I would say this is the most that like a good percentage of my friends got off and never got off.
Absolutely.
Got on,
Got to build the habit.
and never got off. So when it comes to my health, I want something I can trust. That's why I choose AG1 with science-backed ingredients, real benefits I can feel. AG1 makes it easy to support overall wellness every day, and that's why we've been partnering with AG1 for so long. And AG1 is offering our new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You get a welcome kit, bottle of D3K2, and plus 5 free travel box packs in your first box. So make sure to check it out at drinkag1.com/boyscast to get this offer. That is drinkag1.com/boyscast to start your new year off with a healthier note. So this Dominican Republic spring break situation is
I
going
didn't really
on.
understand this. So the chick just disappeared?
The reason I brought it up is because it's like a wild turn of events. There's this dude, he's on vacation in spring break. Then there's this Indian chick, she's on spring break vacation in Dominican, right? Mm-hmm. The girl goes missing. And it was like a pretty big story. I remember seeing it before because it was like a big deal. The girl's just on spring break. Now all of a sudden she's been missing for 5 days, right?
Okay.
Then they start looking in. There's this dude that was like, obviously they'd been like, smashing or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's walking, they've got videos of him walking around with his arm on her. So he becomes the number one suspect. They bring him into Dominican Republic jails. They take his passport away. They're like, you're the one that was last seen on her. And then they start the Dominican Republic and the American news posts a thing being, they do a news story. We don't know where this girl is. This is the guy that was last seen. And they show him with an arm around that guy's girlfriend is in America watching the news, sees the last scene, and it's her boyfriend with this guy, cuddling up with this girl, and now he's in jail. I
guess that's the least of her problems.
She's like, my boyfriend's on
his problems.
Imagine you're like dating a guy and you go, he's going to spring break with his friends. Like, okay. And then next thing you know, you see him on the news with his arm
as
around
a murder suspect.
And she went missing. So then apparently she starts calling the news being like, that's my boyfriend. He's a fucking liar. Her like scathing review of this guy gets him basically brought back in.
Oh no.
So the scorned ex-girlfriend.
Well, she was, I guess she's
current girlfriend. So this guy, he essentially, now there's like kind of a petition being like, there's no way to hold him. And apparently his story didn't make sense because what he says.
So he's like blacked out essentially.
He says they were blacked out. There's pictures of them stumbling all over the place.
And puking and stuff.
Yes. Guy says, So
I read it.
So guy says he's blacked out. And then he basically went to the beach with the girl, says she almost drowned. He saved her and then passed out on the beach. And then when he woke up on the beach, she was gone.
Oh.
So none of it makes a lot of sense.
Potentially happened. Like, drunk people have done stupider shit.
Passed out drunk, right.
But I think they're thinking this is a Natalie Holloway situation.
What does that mean?
That was the girl who famously, that dude Joran Vandersloot, who she went missing on a vacation and then they couldn't find her or whatever. And then it turned out this guy murdered her.
Right.
Yeah.
But it just seems somewhat... Like, if you're putting the pieces together, they're like, this guy goes to church and all his friends are like, no, he's like a lot of people are kind of standing up being like, he's not that type of dude. Which, again, he could. It seems unlikely that if you're like some random dude, I'm going to go with my 5 friends in college.
Right.
I'm like a 21-year-old guy. I'm going to go with my 5 buddies to Dominican Republic. I'll catch up with you guys later and then go murder.
Yeah, just murder some chick, yeah.
It seems probably the more likely scenario is some shit like that where she drowned or whatever.
Yeah. But they haven't found her body, right?
No, they don't know where she is.
Yeah, they don't know
but the
where she
crazy part is, to me, just like imagine this guy is completely innocent. What then? You go on, now you're in jail, and then your girlfriend sees it on the news. Like, what a wild turn of events.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you figure that you have bigger problems at this point than that,
buddy. I got on the topic of this, actually I have a video on the topic of guys getting fucking busted with doing shady shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you a little TikTok here.
Uh-oh.
My bodega guy is so loyal, he started documenting anytime my old situationship comes in with another girl. And this is the bodega guy showing her pictures. Recognize anything about this bodega guy?
Look.
That's my guy.
That's that
we've talked about on this podcast many times. Yes, sir. You know him.
What's his name again? Newman?
Yeah.
Newman. Hello, Newman. His name's literally Newman.
So,
What a fucking dick. I thought Newman was fucking a dog.
so Newman apparently
Is trying to get into the bodega
he's been
TikTok game?
he's been simping for
Ah,
for the chicks.
Newman.
So
The guy has no teeth.
Well, no,
Does he have his teeth back?
there's so much to say. You're tripping me up with all the things I want to say right now. So this guy, the gist of the beginning part is all the girls in the neighborhood that are in relationships, he gets to know them because you see them all the time.
Yeah, I see them all the time.
And then he says to the girls, I'll keep an eye on him and I'll tell you if he ever walks in here with another girl.
What a fucking narc, Newman. Newman the narc.
He's Newman
That's
the
how you
narc.
got a fucking nickname that sticks, pal.
He is a funny dude.
Yeah, he is a funny
He's
dude.
like, he's got all, but it's a lot of uncle pranks, like the type of thing, like give you your money and then you grab it, he doesn't let it go, and you're like, all right,
for sure.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, literally, like you got a fucking Kit Kat. He goes, that'll be $700.
He's a lot of that kind of stuff, yeah.
Thanks, man.
One day, and then what Danny is referring to is then one day he just didn't have any more teeth.
He's missing several jibs.
One day the full face of fucking chicklets,
just like
right?
he was just missing like fucking several teeth.
Yeah, he had like full front row gone.
Yeah.
He was like, what happened? He's like, what do you mean? But I've talked to people, and apparently he does this with other girls too, where he goes, I'm keeping an eye on the guy, like, don't worry, I didn't. So apparently
Profiling.
he's got a
Can't do that
racket
anymore.
where he tries to keep tabs on the neighborhood guys, and then he tries to tell any girl what the guy was up to.
Yeah,
so
he
he's
does.
up to a simp thing, and I don't live there anymore, but I might go back and be like, what is this business you're up to?
Yeah, we should go confront him. We should literally...
Like 2020 style.
Yeah,
with the
literally.
boom-
Yeah,
boom
like
mic
with the
into
boom mic
store.
and everything. We should literally go confront that.
Well,
dude.
this girl, in this specific situation, they're like, she was like, it's a guy I'm loosely dating. Like, imagine you like hung out with a girl here and there, but you're like not in a relationship. And then the bodega guy is like, just so you know, like this guy came in with another chick. You'd be like, buddy, mind your fucking business.
Yeah. Literally, he's like, yeah, you're the guy you were with the other day. You bought condoms. You guys, was that? Did he give
Did
you a
you
good
use
plowing?
the
Have you been plowed recently?
I take it that you had sex using condoms.
Yeah, you've been having some sex. He goes, no, I actually haven't talked to him in 2 weeks. He goes, oh. Sorry to hear.
I guess he's trying to get in the good girl's good graces.
Why? What do you think he's gonna get some fucking?
Well, what do you think might be
sympathy sniz?
You think he's going to get some?
I mean, the
sympathy
only
sniz?
thing I get-
he
like-
must have gotten sympathy sniz at one point, and that's
He's
why
got
he
no
does this game.
teeth. He's like 65.
I think he has his teeth back now.
Okay, well, regardless of the tooth situation, he's an old man. He's not getting fucking like hot chicks in the East Village to bang him. What? You offered him all the smoothies you can drink?
You don't know some of these Sex in the City sluts, man. They might fucking take a chance on the bodega guy.
Yes, I mean he is a successful businessman.
He's a businessman.
Yeah, I mean when we first knew him,
All this could be yours, he says to them.
When we first knew him, he had the little bodega, and then we saw him get on the come up.
He
remember?
did upgrade bodegas.
Yeah, remember he had like that little shitty one underneath your apartment, and then he had like the fucking sick corner bodega.
Yeah, he did upgrade. His new bodega is pretty sick, actually.
Yeah,
nice and
really
clean.
slick. Yeah. So, I don't like it. I don't like what he's doing. We should set up a thing where like one of us goes in with a chick and then like really play a long game.
Do a fucking fake sting on Newman,
Like
and then
full-
get the girl to come in on
and then
him.
get- and then get
be
the girl
like,
come in
"Hey, did you see anything?"
and then we come in
and then you're like
solo.
really obvious about it, like in
Yeah.
there, Newman.
Yeah, Newman, where the poppers at, buddy?
Yeah, just about to fucking. I'm about to give it to this one
Yeah.
tonight, huh? Hey, you're gonna keep your mouth
Yeah,
shut,
yeah,
huh?
he goes-
Bro code, right, Newman?
Dapping him up and everything. He goes, Newman, the one bodega guy I can trust, right, Newman?
And then,
You know, I don't say this shit to any other bodega guy, but to you, Newman, we're like boys. We're like brothers.
we're like
right?
brothers, basically.
I don't shop at any other bodega, and you do not narc on me, right, Newman?
He's getting famous though. He's going viral right and left.
Yeah. Oh,
He is a pretty cool guy. He's funny.
yeah, it's funny.
But I didn't know I only know what he's up to around dudes. I don't really know what the other side of him looks like,
right,
you
he's
know?
got a soft spot for the ladies.
He's got that simp soft spot. I think people don't remember, this is the guy who got in the fights outside and tore down the tents and
Yeah, he
stuff
tore
like
down the
that.
tent city, yeah.
He's getting in fist fights with people at his old bodega because they're
they're
territorial at their bodegas.
Well, they were fucking up his business. They'd literally like go steal from the Target next door and then just like undercut him by like setting up a fucking booth outside.
And he had enough.
Outside of his bodega. I would have enough. Nonstop music. all that shit.
Yeah, he had enough of that shit.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
ripping down tents.
Yeah.
He goes, the city won't stop it, I will.
Yeah.
At that point, he was like, you're like, oh, this guy's the man. I didn't know what his second side hustle looked like.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the non-paying side hustle of his, the unpaid side hustle. Not a fan.
She's tracking you, right? You don't want anyone like just fucking on you, being like, and it might not even be someone doing anything that bad, just being like, yeah, I said I was gonna go to work, but I was just kind of dicking around today. You know?
Yeah.
And you go, hey, I saw that guy in here walking around today. Just like always keeping tabs, you know?
Yeah, I don't like that. That's not the type of neighborhood watch I'm looking to be a part of. Let's just keep the riffraff out. But come on, Newman, you're getting a little too personal here.
Well, anyways, the moral of this whole story of not the Newman one, the story of the passport shit.
Yeah, the Dominican Republic.
The Dominican Republic shit is, once again, I will reiterate, the traveling stinks. It's like, you don't want to be traveling, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, you could also just not murder people.
Did you see? Well, yeah, but stuff happens.
Yeah,
He
but
maybe
stuff
didn't
doesn't-
murder her.
Yeah, I know. I'm leaning towards.
You should
not
never
murder.
leave your own. You should never leave your city. No, other going to cities in your own, other cities in your own country is cool. But
Yeah.
did you see?
You're really embracing the American ethos here, Ryan.
I'm 100%.
I
I
mean,
could
this-
never leave
this
America
is-
ever again, except for going to Toronto.
This is literally like the number one country, in my opinion, probably factually in the world.
You don't have to leave it.
Where people are just like, I don't have a passport. Like this is the most place where you meet people and they go, yeah, I don't have a passport.
I know.
Like,
Why would I need it? Where am I going?
why would I need it? You're like, everything's here. I don't need to go anywhere.
You're like, go to a hot place. We have that.
Yeah, we have a hot
Go to a
place.
cold place. We have
Yeah,
that.
we have it all. Yeah, you don't need any of it.
Go to a national park. We have that.
Yeah, we have it all. You want a waterfall? We got that.
We have that. What are you looking for that
want
we don't
fucking
have?
Alaska? We have that.
Islands? Yeah, we got that, pal.
Yeah, Hawaii is.
Yeah,
America's got it all.
They do have it all.
Yeah.
Well, did you see Bill Belichick
Yeah.
doing yoga poses with his 18-year-old girlfriend?
Oh, that fucking he was
guy- that
he was
stinks,
feeling
dude.
that for a week. That's all I could think of is she's like, hold me higher, and he's like, I'm 70. I don't work out. He's like, fucking those hammies were screaming.
Dude, we always talk about how having an influencer girlfriend's a hassle. This guy's got a fucking 18, you know, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
he's the influencer. He has 6 Super Bowls.
Was. Now she's the influencer, buddy.
That's the
Oh, you
biggest
think
thing.
it was Bill Belichick's idea to do the yoga poses?
Absolutely not. That's the thing is he goes, yeah, I'll get some fucking young sniz and Bill Belichick, fucking Coach Belichick. Everybody loves me. And you go, what's the downside here? And you go, oh, there's going to be some downsides, pal.
Huge downsides.
Yeah, this isn't dating a fucking young chick in the 90s, pal.
Yeah, he's not
This is
realizing
a
that.
new game here.
This is a new brand of fucking young chick,
Yeah.
and they're in a movie, and you're a supporting role.
Yeah, you're a PA, pal. You're fucking...
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in this new world, it's like no. You're dating that young chick as a 70-year-old. You're like, she's currently the star of a production, and you're doing the curtains.
Yeah, you're the financier.
You're the financier, the curtain guy,
Yeah.
the cinematographer, and then also at her leisure, you will also be the supporting characters when needed.
Absolutely, yeah. He didn't plan this out. I can't imagine he likes this. This is like a.
Well, we can't like the. I mean,
you have fucking.
every person in his friend group is probably just like making fun of him
Oh,
behind his back.
absolutely. But dude, behind his back. I mean, he's not their coach anymore. He's getting texts from fucking Tom Brady being like, "What's this shit?" What are you
Dude,
doing,
his
man?"
group chats that he's not in are lighting
him up.
being like, you seen fucking what Belichick's up to? Fucking guy.
Yeah, not good. But hey, man,
So that's another reason not to travel is getting forced to do influencer stuff. And
that I'm
then I found
so
this,
on board.
There's
with
this other one. I just saw it, and I know this was like an old, like kind of like a 5 years ago thing, but it was just made me laugh so much that I wanted to bring it up. That in Mozambique, police warned that bald men that they're under ritual attack, and basically all these guys in Mozambique think that bald men have gold in their heads.
Yeah.
They think that bald guys have gold in their
Does
heads.
the Department of State have like a notification? Do not travel to Mozambique for the people there
Yes,
believe
that's what this is. Yes. It said, be careful of traveling there because albino and bald men are being killed for ritualistic purposes. And I mean, this is why you need, if you're going bald.
That would be the funniest fucking having the...
That'll be the good Hims commercial when we do the Hims ad read. The Hims commercial should be like, you know.
Yeah.
You want
traveling to Mozambique?
Mozambique
Wanna have
men
your
are gonna
skull cracked open for the gold inside? You bald loser.
And you never see any advocacy groups talking about that, right?
No.
You never see, like, you know what I mean? How about some of those advocacy groups that love, you know, ritualistic targeting? How about ritualistic targeting of bald men?
I know, that's a lot of people, too.
It's a group that never gets stood up for.
White bald men
They only get
specifically.
stood up.
I don't imagine a lot of anyone else is getting targeted in the bald community.
The organs used to be used in rituals to advance the wealth of clients, citing the suspects. There's been a spat of killing.
The funniest thing is, by the way, they keep doing this. You go, it's yet to work.
Yeah. We just keep getting the wrong heads.
We've tried 50 of them. There hasn't been gold in one of them yet.
Yes.
But we've been promised the gold. You go, what is your success rate? It's currently 0, but we're optimistic.
Some real Einsteins over there.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they think there's gold in the head?
I think so. Yeah, you would know. Is there?
Not that I know of. I mean, Jews would be on that.
Can you imagine Jewish guy down there? It's like, hey, I'm a Jewish guy named David Goldman.
Yeah.
And I'm bald.
Yeah. yeah. They're fucking surrounded.
I don't have gold in my head. Then why is your name David Goldhead?
You go, I swear I don't have gold in my head. They go, well, we're going to find out.
Your last name's Gold. You fuck.
Yeah, well, from what I understand, Mozambique's not probably a particularly attractive travel destination.
None of them are
Probably have some good safaris there and shit, though.
Yuck.
Yeah.
No, you didn't catch me inside. How about that?
Yeah, you're not a safari guy?
I'd hate to do a safari, dude.
I did see this one thing.
I'd actually hate that.
I saw this one thing where this guy, the super rich guy on Instagram, was at this safari where like you see literally you stay in this it's like probably like a 3-story like hotel, but it's like on a reserve or whatever, and then but you're like on the top floor. There's like a top floor apartment, and then like you wake up in the morning and there's literally like giraffes like poking their head into your fucking room. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I've been to African lion safari once. I guess that's Canadian, but basically it's this place and you drive through.
Enslave lions and giraffes in fucking southwestern Ontario.
I'll tell you what.
Their natural habitat, southwestern Ontario.
The majority of what happens is you drive around in this car and then the monkeys jump up and put their dicks on your car.
Yeah, and then
the majority of being on the safari is seeing monkeys
and they rip off your rear view side mirrors.
Yeah, they do damage to the mirrors.
That's the thing. You sign a lot of releases when you go on an African lion safari. A lot of releases. It's a document-heavy trip right there.
Yeah. Actually, you mentioned this a few seconds ago, but Poppers is off the market.
I know. It's just gay erasure.
Someone in our Patreon actually sent, obviously I'd seen it, but someone in the Patreon sent it to me, and they said RFK officially says no fat chicks, no gay shit. Like he's finally, he's doing the meme, or I guess not the meme, my joke, but the no fat chicks, no fag shit. No fat chicks, no gay shit, keep them cold. The third thing that if he does a new thing that beers have to be a certain level of cold, that would be like the final thing when RFK's bros policies.
I know, super bro policies.
No fat chicks, no gay shit, keep them cold.
Keep them cold.
Keep them cold. So it says the FDA cracks down on popular gay party drug poppers. The Food and Drug Administration is cracking down on poppers, recreational drug that is very popular within the LGBT community. Do you think when they did the crackdown, where they're just like, this popper thing's got to stop, and they send the government employees to the poppers factory, do you think when they go in, it's just like a bunch of like naked gay guys with like leather outfits just stirring like that?
No, I don't.
Do you think the popper factory is just like a Willy Wonka gay playhouse?
Yeah, no, I don't. As much as that seems funny, but because it's literally like paint thinner. It's like a solvent or whatever. It's essentially paint thinner.
And you just sniff it. Have you ever done it?
Why would I have done poppers?
You like drugs?
No, it's supposed to loosen your rectum. It's literally the point of it.
Is that the point of it?
Yeah, it's a muscle relaxant. So you take it so that it makes being it's a bottom drug. It essentially makes it's like a muscle relaxant so that you can take a pound in without feeling it so much.
That's not true, is it?
Yes, that's the point of poppers. It's literally
It gets you high.
It gets you high, but like it's,
Johnny, have you done it? Yeah. Loosen him right up. What? In Holland, yeah.
I mean, the funny thing is, there's going to be
what happens in Holland?
What happens? What goes on in Holland? How many tulips could you fit up there? That's the real question everybody wants to know.
I'm still skeptical that Danny hasn't done them.
I've never done poppers. No, I've done many things, but I've never done.
You're in your hippie community. Yours was loose enough as is.
Yeah. Exit only.
You're like,
or entrance.
You're like,
only.
it'll be looser, and you're like, not possible.
Here's the thing.
I have zero elasticity.
the moment that I can buy a drug at a gas station, I go, that's probably not a good drug.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I go, like, I'm not doing drugs from gas stations.
So you're basically just huffing paint.
Yeah, it's paint thinner. It's like, it's like some, like, it literally says on the thing, it's like some
loosens your ass.
like poppers are like
And RFK's had enough of that, man.
Yeah,
he likes them tight.
like if you look at
that's RFK's problem. They've been too tight.
Yeah, like some tight. It says literally on the bottle of it, like the Rush original, it says solvent cleaner.
Yeah,
that's what it says on it.
Well, it said there was one company that does like 80% of the popper business.
Yeah. And
they shut down without a trace. He said these companies just like deleted their website and disappeared. You never heard of them.
They got raided by the FDA.
Well, they're literally like, we had a good run.
I mean, all you're gonna see though is.
So you think it's a straight businessman? You're not thinking that when you go into the factory, it's just like gay playhouse?
I don't think it's a gay playhouse. I think it's just.
I'm picturing a guy like, he's stirring it because he's naked on like a swing upside down with a paintbrush, just stirring it.
No, I think it's literally like one side of the factory makes 4-gallon jugs of this that go to hardware stores, and the other side of the factory is getting put into the popper bottles that go to convenience stores, and gas stations and shit. But like all you're gonna see,
I wasn't actually thinking that for the record.
Is I know, but you're gonna see just tons of gay people. Like hardware stores are just gonna be noticing like this crazy influx of gay shoppers at your local fucking hardware store, being like, you saw this in smaller. You go, what do you need a fucking 4 milliliters?
A guy that's definitely not done any manual labor.
Yeah. Like really, just like very fashionable people showing up buying 4-gallon drums of solvent cleaner. And you go, does this come in smaller containers potentially? You go, no. It's like, I mean, if you got to
doing some work around the house.
Yeah, doing some work around the house. I go,
I'm doing some work.
You could say that.
You could say that.
There's gonna be like people just like fucking taking it home and just putting it in little bottles.
Okay, so Danny thinks it's a legitimate business, not a gay
erasure.
Do you also? Yeah. Do you also think there's a possibility that the guy who invented the popper solution was not happy that it was a gay thing? He was just
for sure.
You know what I mean? It
was a Wilfred Brimley type. Just
what's that?
The guy from the oatmeal. He's just a real fucking man. He goes, they're using it for what now? Shit's for stripping the side of a barn, and that's it. Real Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve vibes from the guy who invented fucking solvent cleaner. Yeah, you're not liking it. That I know for sure.
You know what I mean? You could think that there's a scenario where the guy's just like at the thing being like, no.
What? Super Rush Black Label. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not liking it.
Yeah. What's our number one customer? What the?
Sir,
the Lord.
We've discovered a new market for our solvent cleaner.
Sir, you're walking out. We have to finish this meeting. He's like, I need to go to church immediately.
Yeah, not liking it. But anyway.
They've gone ghost. So all the companies like shut up shop overnight. Like they're a carnival moving to the next city over.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like they're federally banning it. So.
They said we had a good run.
The gays, you had a good run, gays. But now you're going to have to take it like a real man.
You take it on the chin.
No solvents. You just take it. No muscle relaxants. You just take all 8 inches of it. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So Danny and you've had your war on science for a while, right?
I'm not happy with science.
Yeah, and it's been funny because you sent me a clip that we've kind of, I mean, not to say that we actually necessarily know what we're talking about, but we've just been going through all these science articles.
I mean, we know what's bullshit and what's not bullshit.
Our conclusion has been that this is a load of bullshit, right?
I mean, look, this
and then,
I was just going to say, this very much ties in with the whole, like, Doge stuff. And because a lot of these grants, like,
with the whole, like the student protests at Columbia, and then the U.S. government essentially like, yo, we're removing $400 million of federal grants from Columbia as a punishment for them like allowing all the encampments and stuff. So like there was this crazy gravy train. Like the government was just handing out to these colleges like hundreds of millions of dollars to do this quote unquote science, right? There's not that much science to do. There just isn't. So then they're forced to do this bullshit.
See, I'll go. I would say that it's not that there's not that much science to do. There's infinite amount of science to do. But I would say that because of political reasons, there's probably a small margin of the science that's allowable to get the grants.
That's true. But, and also you probably have to divvy it up. So you go, the social science, like they have to get a cut of this. And you go, what are they going to do? Are they going to go see our turtles gay?
Yeah.
You go, that's the stuff we're interested in. And you go, we have to get some of the money.
The guy comes out and he was like, so the turtle's not gay, but he's also not happy.
Yeah, we tried using poppers on turtles to make them gay. It didn't work.
Well, we have bad news for me and the turtle. The experiment didn't work.
It didn't work.
And also the turtles had a rough day. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So... But Danny sent me a video, and Peter Thiel apparently has been talking about the exact same thing.
Yeah, science is bullshit.
And he basically said, I think, I kind of watched the thing you sent, and his whole thing was he was saying it's like a total scam, and he goes, a lot of these scientists, because his argument was that people... He goes, it's very easy for people to be like, the humanities are bullshit. You know, people are getting their basket weaving degree or whatever. Yeah. But all the universities have kind of been able to say like, yes, but the real stuff happens in the sciences. Yeah. And his argument is, no. They also are not happening there.
No.
It's just the same thing. You just don't know enough. The same, if a guy came to you and he was like...
I'm not saying zero stuff is happening. I'm just saying the proportion of like a new drug discovery relative to the amount of total science going on is...
Well, like Eric Weinstein was saying that he was like, he doesn't like the like string theories become very stagnant and it's like it's very like dogmatic and all this sort of stuff. And you could listen to it and you're just like, maybe.
I mean, I've yet to hear anybody tell me what it actually is.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
The string theory thing is everybody goes, yeah, we don't even know what it is.
The only string theory I know is the solo from Cold November Rain.
Cheese string theory?
Well, you know cheese string theory. I know. Yeah. That's the string theory that I know.
Mm-hmm. Real nice solo right there.
That's the string theory that I know.
Yeah, fair enough.
To reiterate once again what the joke was.
It's really hammering home.
No, this is a hammer. A hammer on. But I just thought it was interesting that we've kind of been saying this forever, and now people are starting to be. And his argument was that he goes, there's dogmaticness. You can be too dogmatic and you can be too skeptical. And he was like, obviously, because, people say that there's too much conspiracies or whatever. And his argument was that it is possible that, there's a level of like people being conspiracy minded and I don't believe anything and I'm skeptical of everything that's bad. But he was like, in my mind, that's much less of the problem. He was like, if you look right now, he goes, there's 10 trillion articles, telling you how things are too conspiratorial and there's too skeptical. And he was like, there's very little happening in the actual like science community where it's telling you that it's too dogmatic, which is those are the two.
Yeah, there should at least be that like opposing force.
Right.
Essentially. But again, they're fucking getting paid and why would you question it? They go, there's this gravy train happening. You go, start challenging it to your detriment.
Yeah, just like anything. You go, hey, there's a bunch of money. This is how you get it. This is the stuff you have to talk about. And lo and behold, people are incentivized by cash.
Yeah, I mean, like the real science is probably being done in fucking Taiwan or some shit in China, whereas because they don't have any of this nonsense. Like they're not studying any of this stuff there.
How to make
they're just making more fucking chips and stuff, GPUs and all that shit.
How to make just a chopstick that just has the fucking titanium
motorized chopsticks.
You don't even have to move your fingers.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I brought up science, period, is I was going to go the other way on this because finally they've done something that isn't so bad. They said, important health warning to women who don't have sex often. The researchers found that females between the age of 20 and 59 who had sex less than once a week were at a 70% increase of death within 5 years.
I'm going to say causation does not equal correlation here. I have a...
Yes.
Yeah, what do these ladies who are not having sex once a week
Although you could also
like?
sort of put this in the progressive thing where you're like the scientists at Harvard decide that girls just need to slut it up.
Sure. I went the other way. I was just like, yeah, are they gross possibly?
You're saying that, yes, I see what
are
you're
these
saying.
like, super obese, unhealthy women? They're not
grumpy.
But more importantly, they're like, yeah, they're not having...
Are they grumpy because they're not having sex? They're not having sex because they're grumpy.
That's a good question. But also you're like, yeah, are these very like unfit women? And they go, yeah, that's why they're so unhealthy.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, that would be my guess here, is that it's...
There's probably so much
honestly,
more going
we always
into that.
discuss these things and you go, it's always just the common sense answer that is probably the likelihood is they're trying to figure out some sort of thing that just doesn't tell the truth. Because the truth is probably like...
You're like, the type of woman that has sex once a week is also the type of woman that like works out once a week at least.
Exactly. And this is probably like, yeah, they don't have sex a lot and they're also like very unhealthy.
Whereas like the lazy sloth is like, well, they don't have sex. They just eat fucking junk food and watch their programs.
Exactly. Their stories. They like to watch their stories.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's what's going on. That's my thought.
Blood samples show these women at higher levels of a key protein linked to inflammation, which can cause damage to healthy cells, tissues, and organs. And then they said for men, this study, here's I'll go the other way of why the science is absolutely retarded sometimes.
Say that word.
I know, right? This article said that men who have sex more were the opposite. They said alarmingly, the reverse phenomenon was seen in men. Men with high sexual frequency were 6 times more likely to increase mortality than females.
What?
This is what it said in this one.
Oh, okay.
But then I was like, maybe it's like the stress of maintaining a roster. Maybe there's like a higher T component. And then I found other articles by the same publication. Daily Mail wrote an article saying that men, by this study, who have sex more, were more likely to have health problems. Then Daily Mail wrote the same article. Doctor reveals alarming reason why you should never go long periods without sex. Leading psychologist has raised concerns. Celibacy leads to an increased risk of depression, anxiety, blah, blah. So I'm looking at this, and I read them both over 2 times because I'm like, this is saying the exact opposite thing. I put them into ChatGPT and AI, and I go, hey, these articles are saying the opposite thing, right? And it goes, you are correct.
Yes, you are correct.
And I go,
Ryan.
well, what's the thing? And it was like basically, well, different studies maybe say different things. And I go, well, what is the answer? And it said it's more likely that more sex correlates with being healthier.
Yeah, which and more sex probably correlates with just being better fitness.
Right. So to go
like
back,
they're talking about cardiovascular health, and you're like, yeah, you're probably like that is a somewhat cardiovascular activity.
So to go
least
back,
when I'm doing
yes. Yeah. Just fucking hanging from the ceiling. You're just like, yeah, I mean, you're at the very least I'm doing stretches, my legs behind my head.
It's like yoga, at least minimum yoga.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think I can't remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something, but that's what my conclusion was. On top of the fact that they're doing dumb articles, these scientists are getting paid millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And then one study says have sex, one study says don't have sex.
Well, that's the sweet spot, because then you go, we don't even know. More science.
We need
is
more
required.
science.
That's the thing. If 2 of them come to the same conclusion and go, well, that's done then, isn't it? I guess we figured that out.
I guess
didn't
we solved that
Fucking,
one.
we're gonna be a bunch of poor losers who just figure everything out, huh?
Whereas they want the answer that's the please, sir, I need some more.
Yeah, you go, hey.
Please, sir.
If only we get some.
Can I have some more money for science?
We need some more USAID money, please, to figure out this conundrum.
Yeah, definitely Oliver Twist scientists is exactly what they are.
Big time. Yeah. They're fucking... I don't like what they're up to.
And I thought that I might also add that Danny has kind of been somewhat right for the first time in your fucking miserable...
Your pathetic, miserable existence.
How does it feel? Well, Danny's been like banging the drum about this whole Canada thing, saying how it's going to shake down.
Yeah.
Is Alberta, will start getting on board with this business.
Yes.
And then they'll secede. And the articles have started rolling out. Meet the Canadians who are over the moon at the prospects of joining the U.S. And this is like a bunch of Alberta trucker guys.
I mean,
right?
dude, I had 6 people in a row call into my show last night. Who all Canadian. They were like, some were Ontario, some Quebec, some Alberta, some British Columbia, and every single one of them were like, yeah, we're done.
I did
And anecdotally, I have a friend who's a realtor in Ottawa, and he's like, things are so bad right now. He's like, I've never seen it like
What does
this.
that mean?
In terms of the economy.
Okay.
Because just the threat of the tariffs alongside just like, I don't know if you saw, there's a chart that's been going around, which is basically like GDP growth for the last decade. Canada is like dead last. Canada has basically had a lost decade, essentially.
Yeah.
Where they were like averaging like 0.5% GDP growth a year, which it should be like, 3. So they've essentially had like Japanese style, like lost decade where like, you can't really make it back, where they basically, the decade was just a disaster. But so, couple that with like, like if things are not going well economically, period, now you have tariff threats or tariffs, which are essentially just like the uncertainty that they cause makes people like, if you're looking to buy a home, for example, which is a major purchase, you're like, I might not be employed.
Yeah.
Right. So I also might think that housing prices are going to go down. I might think interest rates are going to go down as a result of, them trying to stimulate the economy. So then you just kind of are like, I'm sitting on the sidelines. And if enough people do that, it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy where essentially like it's just bad shit after bad shit for the economy. So,
and then your prediction was that in Alberta, they'll say basically what these articles have started to say, where it goes, we want to be the 51st star on the flag, declared Albertan Peter Downing, who was over the moon when Trump suggested it. They got a whole group going on, but here's the part that I would say aligns with Danny. He says, I'm not a proud Canadian, I'm a proud Albertan, says Harvey 52, and they've got this.
They're the new
page.
Quebec. They're like honestly, like they have a big
Canada
secession.
is like an abusive spouse. They just keep beating Alberta down. The rest of the country calls us traitors because we want a better future, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And they support the rest of the country. Like, I didn't realize the extent, and I don't really know why, but like, because, the Canada has like the equalization payments thing where essentially like it's like a sports league where the poor teams get paid out by the richer teams.
Yeah.
Quebec gets $14 billion a year.
I don't know. Why would they want to leave? You guys are on welfare.
Yeah, like they're literally like a total welfare state. Alberta gets...
Sorry, can I have some Oliver Twist over there
absolutely.
as well?
But like Alberta and Saskatchewan are both 0. I believe BC 0 as well. Like basically all the rich provinces, they're like, yeah, we just like, you treat us like shit. We have unfair representation in Ottawa, and then we're just paying all our money to just like support these frogs in fucking Quebec.
I met a guy, or I actually had a buddy because I did a Zoom call with some of my friends who were together. And one of my buddies was like, dude, I'd be fucking sick if I just got like an American citizen. He was kind of hyped up on it.
Honestly,
I mean,
I think the polls are like grossly misrepresenting how many Canadians. I was actually thinking about it yesterday where I'm like, I don't know if the move, if you're, the new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, is once this bubbles up, is like, I almost think you want to have, like, if you don't want this to happen,
you have to do a referendum.
But you do it now.
You do it as soon as possible.
You do it like you go, okay, we're doing this right now, where like the most animus towards the United States exists. Because if you do it now, then you go, look, we had 25%, not enough.
It wasn't even close.
Even close. We're not doing this again. Whereas if you wait 2 years, it will happen. Whereas like you almost need to do it now because you can at least get it.
You have the animosity.
You have the animosity. You can get it out of the way. The economic damage hasn't quite been done yet. Whereas, like, if this goes on for 2 years and you do this 2 years from now, like,
it's a good point. You've been right about this so far. So I would say that you're making a good idea.
I just think, I mean, strategically, like, there might be some downside to doing it now. I guess if your polling's way off and there actually are more than 50% of people who want to do this, and you go, whoops, I was fucking interim prime minister for 2 weeks.
Yeah, because it also is true that maybe this is just a small thing, but it's growing, which is true. But yeah.
I mean, the crazy.
I definitely met some people that are like normal dudes. These are not like political operatives by any means. Just a normal guy with a job.
It's like the boomers who have like real Canadian.
Boomers are doing fine because they all have houses.
They're doing fine, and they have a more
quadrupled.
And they have a like stronger Canadian identity because they grew up.
These bozos with 80% in their net worth in real estate are doing fine.
Yeah, and they grew up in a Canada that had like a real identity, whereas like the younger ones are like, I can never own a home. The economy's in shambles. Like, half of us can't have jobs.
And the boomers are kind of Bill Maherring it by being like, well, you guys aren't working hard enough.
Elbows up. Yeah, elbows up.
Elbows up to you too.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are both. Yeah, they're fucking me. You're fucking me too. I'm getting it from both ends.
Yeah, from both ends. And you're like, you're crazy taxes and
doing all these crazy policies to inflate the fucking market so your house price can go up and. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. So
yeah. So, anyways,
I do understand
it is dire in my opinion.
The love hate.
The crazy thing too is like I go on Twitter and I like follow. I'll look at the comments on these conversations, and the amount of like people who are literally in the Canadian Armed Forces who are wanting this. That would be like the last people you'd expect.
Disagree.
You think so?
No, because they're kind of like, there's probably a lot of like right wing bros in the.
I guess, but you think you're like, the whole point of like going to in my opinion, is like, a military is like they literally break you down and make you like this subservient person to your nation. And these are the people who are the most like kind of, let's do this.
They probably like Trump in the fucking military.
Well, I guess they like Trump, but they're just still, you would think at least the military.
I wouldn't. I understand the point you're making. Yeah. I wouldn't have thought. That does not surprise me.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't surprise me. That's the type of guy I'd expect.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, they're fighting back, so these are the things they're doing to fight back, and they just always make me laugh. It's one of those things when, like, it's just kind of funny when it always just, like, feels like it's not badass. Yeah. When they're just like, well, let's see how you do without maple syrup. You know? But they did, Trump's feeling the burn on this one a little bit, because a Canadian cafe goes viral for their Trump sandwich that includes... So they're selling a Trump sandwich.
This is just a straight up Canadian humiliation ritual that's going on right now.
So the main
tell them what's in the sandwich, Ryan.
The main ingredient's bologna. The guy's full of bologna, and then it has a bit of Russian dressing. So a bit of Russian dressing because of the Putin stuff.
Best part is you go, hey, how does the sandwich taste? Tastes like shit. Sold any? Nope. They have all this bologna rotting in the fridge, though, that we paid for.
So that's sort of fighting back. And then the other thing is the Canadians are paying to violently smash portraits of Trump and Musk. So they have a Trump, Musk, and JD Vance rage room. Dude, if I found out one of my buddies went to a rage room to go like,
you take that, Donald! You fucking Cheeto! I mean, the funny part is generally the people going to these rage rooms can't swing a hammer hard enough to break the glass, but the irony, Ryan, the irony.
So, anyways, Danny's been pretty on point. So you're slowly becoming the resident expert on this stuff because I feel like you've been pretty bang on with a few big predictions.
Yeah, I think so. And my predictions are my outlook is not positive. Mm-hmm. No, especially with Mark Carney now, and he's like, I'm not even going to talk to Trump until... Dude, they're talking about joining the EU.
I saw that.
Are you fucking out of your minds? First off, the EU is an economic shithole. You're like, why are you talking about, like, that's a step backwards. That is like literally cutting off your nose to spite your face. You're like, that is such a step backwards. Like, I guess some people are like, I guess I could live in Spain now. It's like, nobody works there.
Let's join BRICS.
Yeah, like literally, that'll be like the next thing when the EU is like, well, our charter kind of says you have to be European, so you guys are across the Atlantic. That doesn't really count. So I guess you could join BRICS. Just do a double C thing. That sounds cool.
You know what I thought with all the Tesla stuff, where because how the guy was getting arrested for spray painting all the Teslas, and they made it a terrorist.
They arrested a guy here for just like.
Well, there's a big protest going outside right here,
doing a swastika in the dust. Of the guy did a swastika in a dust of a Jewish Tesla owner in New York City, and they arrested the guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking
you should be able to do a swastika
Tesla's a little getting Bud Lighted. Yeah. So imagine Bud Light and Tesla come together to form the Bud Light car. I feel like that could break people's
Bud
brains.
Light-mobile?
If you did the Bud Light Tesla like truck.
Dude, fucking Shane Gillis is buying a fucking yacht. If that happens.
Yeah, that's true. But it was, I also thought, we talked about this a bit last week, but there was just a part of this that was Because a lot of people, I saw a lot of people having this conversation, kind of that we had about whether it's good, the people getting deported and this and that. And then it was interesting because they were like, oh, this guy's getting charged with terrorism for,
He's not getting charged.
smashing a Tesla window.
Oh, smashing a Tesla window.
And then basically the argument is people are saying it's vandalism. And then other people were like, well, why wasn't it also vandalism when someone drove their bike over the pride flag in like George Floyd Way or whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
sure.
but then the argument was like, it's that old thing where whatever law you make will always be used against you.
Absolutely.
Like literally the Patriot Act back in the day eventually got used on like, kind of like pro-American like patriots,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then they were like, okay, we're going to arrest people for like hate crimes for any time they, if someone burns a rainbow flag or whatever, we're going to call that a hate crime. And then now it's kind of, they're like, oh, we can do that. It's going the other way.
Yeah,
it's like, how about you smash a Tesla window? That's a hate crime. And it
It just gets used against you. I mean, as far as I understand, the people who did like deface the George Floyd, like who were doing like donuts, I think they did get in some sort of.
That's my point. Yeah.
trouble. Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's because someone, the people that are, and I feel like I'm probably maybe the.
Remember when we were
the
in
person, hopefully there's some other people, but I'm just like, yeah, I think all of, probably all of it seems like a lot. Like if a guy.
Yeah, agreed. Remember we were in DC, like right after, like in 2021 or 2022, and we were riding the Lime scooters, and they were geo-locked. So you
just the
couldn't-
wind in our hair, down the pride flag.
So. Just pride flag capes on. Just
Me and Danny had
Lime
matching pride
scooters.
flag capes on, holding hands.
Yeah.
we were holding one hand, the other hand on.
Remember
the
it was geo-locked? You couldn't go into George Floyd Square.
Yeah, that was so funny.
It was like
yeah.
literally like your Lime scooter just died the moment. Yeah, it just died the moment you entered George Floyd Square to keep the scooters out.
Runs out of breath. Yeah.
In solidarity with George Floyd, St. George.
Yeah, it was that was wild. But apparently that stuff was happening where a guy does the donuts on the pride and they they call it I guess it was more like hate crime than terrorism. I can't remember the thing.
I don't think they're getting people for necessarily hate crimes. I still think they're just getting them for common vandalism.
No, but the right wing version of like going to jail for hate crime is
right. Is defacing a pride mural or whatever, or like doing donuts on the pride sidewalk.
Yeah.
I agree. No, I think it's crazy, but I still stand by my thing with the whole because I was talking to Kurt about it yesterday, and with the green card, like everybody's just like, the people who are opposed to this, they're like, yeah, green card holder is the same as an American citizen. I'm just like, it's not. You're not an American citizen. It's just like you can not like it, but it is.
Well, that's another thing that I saw like some people were talking about. There's this person who has a visa, and there was like a ton of articles being like, this person came in on a visa and they're denying them and they're getting stopped by ICE and that's how out of control it is. And you're just like, well, they didn't have their visa, they were going to get it. And you're just like, dude, do you know how many friends I have that are like, oh yeah, I can't go back right now because my visa is being processed. Like
the girl from Canada who know
that.
Like the girl from Canada who I think you're referencing, who she basically like wound up in an ICE detention facility for 12 days, which is crazy. I will fully concede that.
It is crazy.
But she got denied a visa in Vancouver. Right, like she was going in Seattle to do her visa. They denied her visa, and then she's like, "Oh, I'll fly to Tijuana, go into San Diego, and see if they'll do it there." And they're just like, they have records of all this.
When I was young, I had a visa from the band. And then since I had a visa, it was always hard to cross America because if you had a visa and now you no longer have one.
Yeah, they assume you're working.
They're like, well, why'd you have a visa before? And you're like, oh, I used to tour here. And they were like, so what the fuck are you doing this time, pal?
Right. Yeah,
so if you got denied a visa or you try to do a visa, or if your visa's in flux, you're like, everyone knows you're like, stay whatever country you're in, you are in.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
So there is,
but I mean, there is some crazy stuff.
Maybe we know a little bit more about this because we're Canadian.
The Venezuelan deportations or whatever, you know how they're like fucking rounding them all up and sending them to CCOT or whatever, and or whatever
it's getting swatted down by the judge.
Yeah. Unsuccessful, but apparently, and again, more info might come out, but apparently 3 Venezuelans who literally just like had tattoos, who just like were assumed they were just MS-13 because they just had tattoos, were just like kind of snatched up. But again, they weren't citizens. They were like asylum seekers. But
that's like me at the airport every time. I think it's because of all my tattoos.
Yeah.
At the airport, I'm always getting
MS-13 tattoos. I'd get those covered up.
The skull, maybe.
That'd be a funny, like new kind of like.
I used to tell girls this skull was my grandmother's skull, and I did. I remember. See, you would be surprised how many people.
How do you feel about some sort of modern day Jackass where we get you blacked out and then we just do like a MS-13 thing on your neck, but like, and then we're like, oh, we're late for the airport, and then you show up at the airport, you just have an MS-13. You don't realize in your neck. Ryan gets fucking renditioned to El Salvadorian prison.
Oh, I love it.
Guys, it was a joke.
There's a lot of mumbo jumbo going on. Anyways, I have a whole bunch of other stuff to get to on the patreon.com/theboyscast. Once again, that is for the people out there, patreon.com/theboyscast. Be there or be square. I just checked. We're like 140 away from doing our next episode. If you haven't watched the others, Bugman vs. Bugman, me and Danny's half-hour Patreon-only TV show, and a new episode every single week. So hundreds of backlog at this point.
And inflation-proof.
And inflation-proof piece.
Later.